Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am the budgeting esthetician, and today we are going to be doing a stuffing for my first paycheck of January. I know back in December I was trying out doing two separate stuffing videos with my expenses and then my sinking funds and savings. I kind of got behind number one on my videos because of doing that kind of budget with me 2024 goals video that I put up last week. So I figured maybe I would just combine both of those today just to get back on track with my normal schedule. And then I also just kind of want to go back to doing it that way and see how I like it, see what works best for me. But before we get into the video, I actually am going to show you guys really quickly because I should have done this in that video. I forgot what I wanted to do was do a comparison between when I first started posting videos on here to now, to see how much of a difference I'd made in my sinking funds since then. So I made a new page and copied over my December numbers, and then went back and copied over my numbers from the end of June, which was the first month that I started posting cashless cash stuffings on my channel here on YouTube. So we ended June with $4,669, and we ended December with $7,176. So you guys, even spending the entirety of my rainy day fund, $1,500, we still saved $2,507 in 6 months. I feel like that is insane. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys real quick because I think it's really important to do comparisons like this and whatnot, and it just is really motivating and exciting. So I wanted to show you that real quick, but beyond that, we will just go ahead and get started with the stuffing here. I kind of wanted to show you, I'll still keep my pages separately because I might be a little chatty in this video, as far as I kind of wanted to not make it a budget with me, but kind of explain to you guys a little bit more in depth here in the breakdown what I kind of went over in my last video as far as how I decide what to budget for everything, basically. So first, what we're going to do, I'm going to grab my calculator real quick just to make sure we have the right amount of money here. I'm going to take what we'll be stuffing today, which for the bills, which says $758, but that is because we're going to be taking $51 from my cushion to essentially restuff today. So that's not new income, but it is going to get stuffed today. So we're going to count that in. So I'm going to add that together with what I'm going to stuff for my sinking funds and savings, which is $1,045. And just make sure we get the right amount of prop bills up here. So once I pull the 51 from cushion, I should have $1,854. That's how much we'll be stuffing today. Again, technically $1,803 is my actual income, but we will be stuffing $1,854 today. So let me pull the 51 from cushion, and then we'll count this money, make sure we do have that right amount. So my cushion is in my expenses and savings binder. So going back to that, we will just pull out that 51 in a 50 and a 1. Very easy peasy. And then I'm going to give this guy a count. It should be at 500 again now, which is my goal for this fund. So anytime it gets over that amount, I pull the money out and redistribute it to other categories, basically. So 100, 200, 50, 300, 50, 70, 90, 410, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75, 85, 90, 92, 46, 8, 99, and 500. Perfect. This fund is basically kind of like a little buffer for me. So we will now go and count this cash and make sure we have the right amount here. This is a lot of cash, you guys. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900. 50, 1000, 50, 100, 52, 53, 54, 450, 1450, 70, 90, 510, 30, 50, 70, 90, 610, 30, 50, 70, 90, 710, 1710, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 1770, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 1800, 1805, 10, 15, 25, 35, 40, 2, 4, 6, 8, 50, 52, 53, and 54. So perfect. 1854 is what we should have here. So, and then before I get to actually stuffing my expenses first, I'll kind of talk to you about how, like I said, I break it down per paycheck. So what I've been doing is stuffing my expenses first, my variable expenses, which are like my day-to-day spending. So gas, groceries, and then spending. For me, I like to keep really simple and just one envelope there. That's for like eating out, personal care items, anything I just want to spend my money on, basically. And then my expenses, my fixed expenses, which are my bills, basically. I've been stuffing those first because basically what I do when I get, as far as budgeting out a paycheck, is I budget for all my expenses first, and then I budget for my sinking funds and savings to make sure, obviously, that I can accommodate my expenses first. I make enough money that I always know I'm going to be able to do that unless I know for a fact I've missed a lot of work or something like that. So I like to budget that out first, figure out how much I need to put towards that, and just subtract that. So with that 51 from cushion, like I said, that brought us to a total of 758. And then what I do once I find out what my paycheck is, I get paid bi-weekly, by the way. I take my total paycheck amount, I subtract that amount I already added to my expenses, which was 758 this go around, and I was left with 760 from that. But then I also wait until the end of the pay period to find out how much I made in cash tips, which it says 259 here. It was actually 159. I added 100 onto this because of a check I actually got from my aunt for dog sitting for her over the new year. So that's actually a bit higher than it would have been. But I track my cash tips. I am an esthetician, for anybody who might have noticed the name of my channel. I basically do facials and stuff like that in a spa. So I do get tips. So some people tip me in cash, which is great. So I like to add that in here. Cash back is from my credit card spending that I do. I earn cash back by putting things on my credit card and then paying my credit card off every single paycheck. So I add that into my stuffings. And interest is my interest that I earn each month from my high yield savings account, which was $16 this month. So once I know exactly how much my paycheck is going to be, like I said, add that all together, and then that gave me $1,045 that is just going into my sinking funds and savings today, which is so exciting, by the way. And then, yeah, once we get into stuffing those, I'll talk more about how exactly I decide where I'm going to put that. But again, go watch my last video if you're like completely lost. That kind of explains how I budget for my sinking funds and savings. I usually budget like an amount I want for the entire year, and then I break that up monthly by, even numbers. So that I'm stuffing even numbers every single paycheck. At least $5 is my minimum, because I like to stuff numbers divisible by 5, basically. But we'll get, like I said, more into it here. We're going to go in and let's stuff my expenses first. Let's start with my fixed expenses. So, and something I wanted to talk about too with you guys really briefly, hopefully, is that the way I have done my budget is I have gotten to where I am like ahead on my bills to the point where I just divide each of mine in half and stuff a half every paycheck. And then I just make sure that in each particular fund, I'm going to have enough in there when that particular bill is due. Something else you can do, especially if you're first getting started, is just stuff whatever bills are due that pay period, if that makes sense. So just get a calendar. Actually, you know what? I'll show you the one I have here on my iPad, which ignore these over here. I've got some videos planned out there. But I always I get a calendar for the whole month. I write my paydays and then I write what dates all my bills are due on. So what you can do is do essentially like the paycheck by paycheck method, where you just cover all your expenses that fall within that pay period and do it that way instead of the way that I do it, which is splitting everything in half so that I'm stuffing the same amount every pay period. So like, to give you an example, I did that for mine because I just wanted to see what it would be. And during my first pay period of the month, I have $492 in bills come out. The second half of the month, I have $608 in bills come out. For me, having a variable income, I actually like to be, like I said, kind of almost essentially ahead on my bills that way, just in case for some reason, like, I was not going to make as much on my second paycheck as my first one, then I don't have to stuff a lot less in my sinking funds and savings to accommodate my bills. Because again, I like to budget a like minimum amount for those every single paycheck and every single month. It's just the way I like to do things. It'll work differently again, maybe for everybody. Just find what works best for you. And then, and I finally redid my bills tracker, you guys. But moving along, we will just start the stuffing here. So housing is getting $150 today, so that's half of the $300 a month that I pay the family of mine that I stay with to stay in one of their spare bedrooms, basically. So that's just $150 that goes in there each paycheck. And then I have some envelopes where I combine categories together, like insurance is covering both health insurance and my car insurance. So I am not stuffing $148 in one envelope in car insurance, like $39 in another envelope. If you add $148 and $39 together, that is $187. So that's what I'm going to add in here today. 75 and a 2. And that gets added to the half of my car insurance that is already in here, because my car insurance comes out at the beginning half of the month, whereas my health insurance comes out the second half of the month. Okay, so now in insurance, we have 150, 70, 90, 200, 210, 15, 20, 22, 4, and 5. 225 in insurance. Student debt is just my Sallie Mae loan right here, so that is getting 73 today to bring it up to 123, which is what I currently have the auto debit set at, but I changed that to be more starting in February. Again, go watch my last video if you want to know why. But student debt now has 51, 122, and 3. Okay, for phone bill, that is just getting 20 today, and now it has the 40 I need for that bill. Okay, memberships is another combination envelope, so that is a combination between my yoga studio membership and my gym membership. So that is getting 47 today. $20, $45, and $7. And that is getting added in here. And I still have my yoga studio membership for last month in here. That's going to get unstuffed here pretty soon, because that's actually technically already come out. Okay, and now memberships has 50, 70, 90, 110, 25, 30, 132, 4, and 6. 136 in memberships. Subscriptions is another combination envelope between my YouTube Premium subscription and my iCloud storage I pay for. but that is just getting 7 for half of YouTube Premium right now because iCloud just only gets $1 a month. So I just like to stuff that $1 in one paycheck instead of stuffing like 50 cents technically. So subscriptions now has 5, 10, 15, 17, 19, and 21. All for YouTube Premium at this point. That's also gonna get unstuffed soon though. Okay, so that is all for my fixed expenses. Onto my variable expenses. I call these variable expenses because I don't always spend the exact same amount in these categories, but I do typically stuff the same exact amount in these categories unless I know I'm gonna overspend in one of them, basically because of something that's been going on that pay period. So gas is getting 25 today, which is typically what I stuff for just my normal driving to and from work and whatnot. So 25 in gas. Groceries is getting $200 a week essentially, and spending is getting $100, essentially $50 a week for a personal allowance basically. Okay, and then that is that for all of our expenses. So now I will just go down to my sinking funds and savings, and we will start stuffing our savings first since we're already in this binder. Ahead is good at $1,500 for now, and cushion, like I said, is good at $500. Ahead is just part of my emergency savings, which is about being ahead on all my expenses. So there's $1,500 in here, which is enough for all my fixed expenses for the month, plus my groceries budget for the month as well. I did not include my gas budget or my spending budget in here. But yes. And I forgot to maybe say it in my last video for my goals, but if possible, I would actually love to double this year. Or I've kind of thought about like actually doubling rainy day and just keeping a month in here. We'll see what I decide to do, but I would not be opposed to doubling either ahead or rainy day. But rainy day, we are trying to get back up to the $1,500 at least that it was at last year. So what I am doing is the savings challenge right up here for that, which is from Simply Budgeted. Everything from any Etsy seller that I have in this video is linked down below, by the way. But to get $1,500, I had to divide the number of coffee cups here by that number, and each of these coffee cups is worth 75, so that's what we're stuffing today in here. So I'm gonna color in one of the coffee cups here. And yeah, my savings, as far as like going into my sinking funds and savings, again, as you might have seen in my last video, I start by making sure my savings goals have been met, and then I go into all my other sinking funds. But okay, that is what is going in here today. So 50, a 20, and a 5, and it has its first $75 in here. So exciting. I really think I can double that this year. I might do it in here and do that savings challenge twice. We'll see. And then for my generic savings envelope, I am doing a new $500 savings challenge from Minimalistic Budget. This one using odd numbers. The way that this paycheck worked out, it ended up being an even number. But sometimes I do end up with odd numbers, and I figure I maybe need to just embrace that and stuff it. So what we're going to do is we're going to stuff a 16, which is the highest number on here, for the $16 that I earned in interest. So let me find that. There's only one 16, and that's the highest number on here. And then just to equal that out to 20, basically, I'll also be crossing off a 4, which I'm going to do this one right here. This money at the end of the year is going to be going towards my Roth IRA, hopefully. So we will stuff 10, 15, 16, and then 2 and 4. So 10, 15, 17, 19, and 20 is now in savings. I have to stuff a minimum of 40 in there every single month to reach that $500 goal by the end of the year. So, okay, perfect. Then we will move on to my sinking funds. So again, what I took our total of 1,045 here and subtracted the 95 we put into my savings, and that left me with 950 to put into my sinking funds. And then basically what I usually do is go through and do the minimums of every category first, and then add extra to the categories that I want to. And yeah, I think I might just talk about that as we go through. So we will start in my long-term sinking funds binder. Annual bills is getting its minimum of 5 today. I think the only annual bill I know for a fact I'm going to have this upcoming year is my Planet Fitness yearly fee, which is $40. So this is going to get at least 100 this year. So I'm already going to be over that amount, which I don't mind being over that amount. But yeah, this one's probably never going to get more than $5 of stuffing. Business is also getting its minimum of $5. I have saved up in here at the end of last year for a certification that I'm going to get. In the state I live in, you need to get an extra certification to do dermaplaning professionally as an esthetician. So that's what I'll be doing. And I actually just recently signed up for my class at the end of February. Now business has 1, 2, 3, 350, 75, and 80. This one's probably also not going to get more than the minimum unless another certification I want needs to happen. Car. Last year we saved $2,000 in car for me to get a new car here in 2024, but we are going to stuff 10 in there today as a minimum, just to make sure I keep stuffing it with something. And I will still need like car washes and stuff like that. So we now have 1,000, 2,010 in car. Okay, home. Home today is getting $270. I might see if I can do like a whole video or something. I don't know if I would even take a whole video, but I want to kind of tell you guys my plan for this budget for this. But I'm doing a $5,000 savings challenge to potentially be able to move out next year if I want to, or just at least whenever I do want to move out. So this is one that the minimum for this is $300 a month, aka basically would have been $150 for this paycheck. I had some extra cash, so I decided to throw it at this savings challenge so that I could get ahead just in case for some reason I get behind on a different month, because this is one I 1000% want to finish by the end of 2024. So, and I've broken that up into all the different actual numbers that's going to be from. I'll cross those all off here with you. We need to cross off a 65, a 60, a 55, a 50, and a 40. And then that's how I'm going to stuff it today in those denominations. But yeah, also the higher number that I can get, the higher numbers I can cross off on the savings challenge. So like I said, whenever I can, that's going to be my goal for here. So, but yeah, I want to do a video kind of about my budget for in here. How I'm going to split up the $5,000, or just include it at some point. Probably not. I probably won't go over it today just because it's going to be a long video as it is. But I'll tell you guys at some point how I am deciding to split up the $5,000 in between my different categories here. But okay, this should be 270. Let me just double check. 51, 52, 20, 40, 50, 65, and 70. Okay, and Essentials already has $1,000 in it that we saved last year. And this 270 is going to go into furniture. So that means we have 1,270 now in home. Okay, medical is getting its minimum of $10 today. That's our last 10. So it now has 1, 2, 3, 10. Unless something comes up, that's another one that's probably not going to get above its minimum. And then pet care is getting 50 today, so it now has 150 in there. I'm trying to save up $1,500 this year to be saved up for a pet, basically. Travel is getting 250 today. This is yet another one I'm trying to add extra to whenever I can. So my minimum for this one was only 100 and it's getting 250 today. So let me think where I want to add that. Didn't think about that actually before this started, but I think I'm just going to add it to Trip. So 1, 250. Now Trip has 1, 2, 350, 450, 550, 650, and 750. But yes, I do think I want to plan a big trip this year. Bigger than I've done in a long time, at least. Not sure exactly what it's going to be yet, but we're preparing for that before I have to add a car payment to my monthly expenses. So travel now has that $750 in there. And we will move on to my short-term sinking funds binder last but not least. Okay. Adventures is getting 5 today. It now has 50, 75, and 80. This is for anything fun, basically. Clothing is getting 20 today. So it now has 20, 45. Giving is also getting 20. So it now has 50 and 70. That's for giving to anybody else for any reason I like. Holidays is getting 5. This is for like holiday get-togethers for food, drinks, decorations, anything like that. It now has 55. These ones are pretty self-explanatory and they're all getting their minimums. My long-term sinking funds are definitely my main priority this year and my savings. Household is also getting 5. And that is all it has now. This is for like cleaning supplies, toilet paper, stuff like that. Okay, Miscellaneous is getting $220 today. So my minimum for Miscellaneous was 20. But I wanted to add extra to this fund if I could at the beginning of the year here. So that 200 extra is going to be added to this 50 to be hopefully going towards a bike for me. So we're adding 1, 200, and a 20. So now Miscellaneous has 1, 2, 50, 70, 270. But yes, I really, really want to buy a bike this year. And I think very soon. Because I wonder if they're kind of just more on sale right now this time of year, or I don't want them to like be harder to find as we get closer to the warmer months. So yes. And then last but not least, Pamper is getting this last $75 today. This is for me to get my monthly massages, which I need one so bad, you guys. It's been 6 weeks since I got my last one because I didn't plan very well. And so I'm gonna have to get one like very soon and then get another one very soon after. But yeah, any service I get comes out of here. So massages, if I were to get a facial, pedicure, haircut, anything like that comes out of here. So I had a lot of money to mine mainly because of the massages. Pamper now has 150.75. After adding that, okay, you guys, and that is it for this stuffing today. I hope maybe I kind of explained to you a little bit better how I budget things out. Like I said, I really just make sure those expenses are out of the way first, add all my minimums for all my goals for my categories here for sinking funds and savings, and then just add to the funds I want to add to until the math makes sense. That concludes this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already. We are trying to hit 400. I've been right around the like 380, 385 mark for I think a couple weeks now. So please, if you enjoyed and would like to see more content like this, please subscribe. I hope you have a great rest of your day and your week until I see you again. And I will see you guys later.